Hello, everyone. Welcome to Episode 2 of My Authentic Self with Dr. Friesen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your time and the fact that you chose to listen with me. Today, we are going to talk about my weekend. I had the pleasure of going to Alabama this past weekend. And while I was in Alabama, I had the pleasure of attending an art exhibit. It was more than an art exhibit. There were more than paintings there. There were more than music. It was a chance to really grow and explore life through the eyes of the youth. And I say through the eyes of the youth because I was like the third oldest person there. And the exhibit was geared towards Black excellence. So all of the people who participated were Black, African American, or something of the African ethnicity. And the majority of the people there were women. It was hosted by Venus and Subway. Disclaimer, Subway is my son. Subway performed, and everyone else who performed was female. We had the ability to stop and interact and network and have conversations. And of course, that meant I got to have conversation with a lot of young women. And these conversations really occurred after I had the chance to listen to some of them perform their poetry. One person sang and played the guitar. It was a very beautiful experience. When the event was nearing the conclusion, we had the chance to bid on pieces of art that were for sale or auctioned off. And one was auctioned off. It was, oh God, it was a beautiful piece. It was auctioned off to benefit a person who has cancer. And then there were other pieces that were auctioned off. And all of the money, the proceeds went to the artists who were there, which of course was amazing. But as I was sitting there listening to the poetry, hearing the young ladies discuss things that were so intimate, these women were really bearing their soul. And I kept hearing a theme. And then I know it was a theme that resonated with me because it's a theme that I've seen in my life. And this theme was that these ladies were expressing how they were tired of not being loved. And they wanted to be loved. And for various reasons, they could not be loved. They wanted to be weak. And I say weak, meaning they wanted to walk in their femininity, which is seen as being weak nowadays. It's seen as not being a true woman, a strong Black woman, when you're weak and you cry and you really say, I need a man or I need a partner. I want a husband. I want a boyfriend. I want a lover. I don't want to do this by myself anymore. So some people call that being weak. And some of these women, these beautiful queens, express that they felt the need to not be alone, to be free to love, to be free to cultivate a relationship, and yet they didn't want to be weak. So at the conclusion of the event, I had the chance to talk to some different people who were at the event, and I had this conversation with this one woman, which led me to the meaning behind this podcast today. I began to express to her how women, African American women, Black women, strong women, have been taught for generations how to walk in their masculinity. And we needed to walk in our masculinity because we grew up in situations where we did not have masculine energy and we did not have protectors. And we had to learn from the women in our lives who were walking in their masculinity how to be more masculine, how to be more aggressive, how to get the things we needed, how to protect ourselves, how to not be hurt. So we have learned very well, I might add, how to walk in our masculinity. And we have been walking in our masculinity to the point of where studies show that the Black African American queen has more education than the Black male, makes more money than the Black male, heads up a household, owns homes, does things that the Black male doesn't necessarily do. That's what the studies say. But here we are, all of these generations later, and our Black queens, our Nubian princesses, are tired of walking in their masculinity, and they do not know how to stop walking in their masculinity. I have experienced this. I understand. I can truly appreciate where you're coming from. The reality is that every person, regardless of race, sex, how you identify as a male or a female, every person has the masculine and feminine energy within themselves. We walk with both energies on a constant basis. The question becomes which energy is more dominant in your life. And I have observed that in a relationship, whether it's a relationship between a male and a female, two females or two males, the masculine energy and the feminine energy are always on display. And when I see a male and a female together, and the female has a heavy amount of masculine energy on display, most of the time, the male has a heavy amount of feminine energy on display. When I see two males together, I can clearly distinguish the masculine energy from the feminine energy most of the time. And when I see two females together, I can distinguish the masculine energy from the feminine energy. So the question becomes, how does that person who walks so heavily in the masculine energy, who does not want to walk so heavily in the masculine energy, stop walking in the masculine energy? And then there's the second question. Do you need to stop walking in the masculine energy? I'm going to answer the second question first. No, I don't believe you need to stop walking in the masculine energy because all of us have masculine and feminine energy. I believe you need to change the balance of masculine to feminine energy ratio within your life. So you might need to have more feminine energy come up if you want to have someone who's more masculine come into your life. Because masculine energy is attracted to feminine energy. And if you do not like the males that you are attracting, if you feel they are weak because you feel they are too feminine, then the only solution is to change the energy that you're putting out. Because the law of attraction says that you are going to attract what you are putting out, what you're calling out. And masculine energy attracts feminine energy. So if you are overly masculine, you will attract the more overly feminine male. The other side to that is, what happens when you attract a masculine energy and you have a masculine energy? Well, there's going to be a war. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be a battle because there's going to be one entity wanting to be the alpha. As it always occurs when males get together, they try to establish the alpha. And if you are fighting this masculine energy and you prove yourself to be the alpha, that masculine energy is not going to want to stick around. That masculine energy is going to want to leave because it wants to be the alpha. So if you're really, really seeking a supercharged masculine to be in your life so that you don't have to carry the load, you don't have to feel the weight of being the masculine. You have to change and learn how to walk in your femininity. I know that's not exactly easy to do for most of us, but I can promise you it can be done if that's what we want. And if it's not what you want, you have to understand that you will continue to get the males who are effeminate, the males who are walking in their femininity, the males that you don't necessarily like because you don't like that they're bisexual. You don't like the fact that they um, need to cry constantly and want you to be in charge because you don't want to be in charge. You don't like the fact that they can't make a decision and you have to make all of the decisions. Well, that's who you're attracting. And that has nothing to do with, oh, black women are too aggressive. No, 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 no. You've been taught to get what you want, to go after what you want, to walk in the masculine nature. And I can understand why you're tired. It is draining to always have to live in that energy and never have the moment to just be free to cry and say, I need help. I need to have someone else to do this with. I need a shoulder to cry on. I don't want to have to pay all of the bills by myself. I don't want to have to go out and work 3 jobs just to prove that I can buy things that other people get. I don't want to be alone every night. I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of fighting. So that's what I learned from my weekend. It was a beautiful weekend. I had a great time, had an amazing time. I truly enjoyed seeing these women express that, and I could see the shift in the world as the focus is now on balancing the masculine and feminine energies in the household. And the women who have had to walk in that masculine energy are seeking a way to not have to walk so heavily in that masculine energy. And they want to find a partner who walks in the masculine energy. Very powerful indeed. I hope those of you out there find what you seek, whether it's the masculine looking for the feminine or the feminine looking for the masculine. But before you find that, I hope you take some time to find out what's in you. What energy are you walking in? And if once you identify that, do you really want to be in that energy? Ask yourself that question. All right, looks like my time is almost up. If you would like to reach me, you can go to my website, www.tsfcenter.com. There's plenty of ways to click on links to contact me. If you have a suggestion for a podcast in the future or a question you want me to address, you can contact me and send me a message about it. Until next time, be well.